Hello YouTubers, it's Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly update video, and as usual I'm going to show you what I found and then we're going to look at some things close up. Got some neat stuff to show you I think here. Not a whole lot of stuff, but some quality items. First up I'm going to show you just a couple things I found in store, which were this guy right here. This sweet Firebird, this 2001 Pontiac Firebird. This is in the Hot Rod Power Tour, which is actually Muscle Cars USA 2017 Release 2. This is version B. Version A, I believe, is just a reverse color scheme. It is a black car with red flames. We're going to crack this open in the second half here and take a closer look at this casting. And I think what we'll do is maybe compare it to the Auto World Deluxe casting of a car that's of a similar year. So we'll take a look at that. I also got both of these GTOs. One of these, this I got from Todd, Crazy Todd. Strikes again. Got this from him last night. And then this is the version B. And I picked this up at a Meijer. So there is a Meijer now that is north of where I live, and my town is going to get one, so that is exciting. I don't know exactly when that's going to be open for business or when it's actually going to be. I don't even think they broke ground yet. I'm not sure, but I know we're getting one here in Appleton, so that's going to be pretty awesome. So these are both from 2017 Release 2 of the Street Freak series from Johnny Lightning, and so that's that. I did find a couple of chases yesterday. I actually found two of the exact same M2 chase, and I don't have either one here to show you because basically the first one I found at Toys R Us in the morning, and I traded that one right away to a local collector, Jeremy Bolter. Shout out to you, buddy. I'll show you what I got from him in just a second. And then I found the other one in the Toys R Us in Green Bay, which is a town north of me, the same town that Meijer is in. And I ran into my buddy Suresh, who was on his lunch break hunting. So I was up in his territory, and we ran into each other at Toys R Us, and it was cool. We found two chase pieces, and he took the M2 home with him, and I took this Green Machine home with me. So this is pretty neat, and I did not know it at the time, but this, I guess, is the harder to find version of this Series 13 Green Machine, and I will explain that kind of in the second segment of the video and kind of show you. I have a whole kind of collection of these trucksters, so I'll show you every one I got and explain why this is the harder Green Machine to find. So there's that, and then Suresh RAOK'd me this awesome piece. I'm super stoked to have this in my collection. I can't believe he just wanted to give this to me. So it's number 81, if you care about that. You know, I collect vans, and this is just a really sweet van to have. I've got the regular release of this loose, and now I got the Green Machine. I think I'll probably just leave it on card for right now. But really, really cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Suresh. And then he also, just a store pickup that he picked up for me, was he knew I'd be after one of these, so he picked up this double cab for me. Another thing that we're going to look at, oh, and I got this from Todd. Todd had an extra one of these, so I picked this up. I'm going to crack both of these, and then we're going to take a look at all the VW truck castings that have come out recently. So you have one from M2, which had a few different variations of it, and then we got one from Greenlight, which the Greenlight one is I believe a T2, and I think these are T1s, body style or whatever of the VW bus. And then we'll take a look at the Matchbox one. We'll compare that one, and then the closest thing I guess Hot Wheels has to it would be this guy. So we'll kind of take a look at all those close up, and it's kind of funny that all the companies are coming out with a VW truck in pretty much within the same year-ish. So there's that. All right, so now Jeremy Bolter traded me. He's been holding on to this Ultra Red for me for a long time, and I finally found that M2 chase. That was awesome, so he just made a straight-up swap for it. And very nice of him to hang on to this for me. and not trade it away, because it took me a long time to find something that he likes, and he hunts pretty hard, so he finds a lot of stuff. So a lot of the stuff that he's looking for, he finds it in store, and because he works out of town and stuff like that, and he gets to go to a lot of different Walmarts and Toys R Us's and stuff, and man, he really brings it home. So he does a real good job hunting and finding stuff. So it's really nice of him to hold on to that for me. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Jeremy. And then he also brought over some other stuff that he thought I would like, or he messaged me on some of these Beetles. I posted to Instagram in a little picture slide thing all of the VW Beetles that I have of Hot Wheels. And he had two variations of the standard VW Bug that I actually didn't have in those pictures. So that's awesome. So this is two I can check off on my list. I'm kind of trying to get every single one of at least this classic VW Bug casting. And I know it's going to be next to impossible because there's like 100 of them out there, but I'm going to try to get them all. And so there's that. And then he gave me 2 or 3 Baja Beetles. And I kind of collect this casting as well. So these are 2 I did not have. I think I do have one loose one of this, but now I got a carded one, so that's pretty cool. And then he also hooked me up with a couple Firebirds, 73 Pontiac Firebirds. This sweet one I did not have, so that is really awesome to add to the collection. This one I got loose, but now I got it carded. And then he also hooked me up with the short card variation of that, which is pretty neat to have in the collection, so that's awesome. Thank you, Jeremy, for that. And these cars, basically, I'm going to make him a custom. He wants me to make him a custom. I can't tell you details about it. But I'm going to be making a custom for him, and then possibly 2 customs for him. So it'll be pretty cool. And then this is a 70 Camaro. This thing, the special thing about this Camaro, this is, I believe, a Toys R Us exclusive color for this car. It came out in 2013. I don't have it. I didn't collect in 2013 at all, so I'm missing a lot from that year. So this is really cool to get this. Thank you, Jeremy. And then real quick, lastly, I did make through a really lowball bid. Like I paid $5, I think, shipped for this Ferrari Testarossa that I didn't have. And I just recently went through and made a list of all the Testarossas that I do not have, that I still need to get, all the different variations. And this is another casting that I'm trying to get every single one of. And I didn't have this one, so I picked her up off of eBay. Not too bad, 99 cents. It's still got the price sticker on it. I think this one came out in 92. So there is that. All right, so let's flip the camera around and take a close look at stuff. We'll crack a couple things. And we'll take a look at those family trucksters and some double cab VWs. Okay, let's start by cracking open this Hot Rod Power Tour 2001 Pontiac Firebird from Johnny Lightning. Custom red with flames. The cool thing about the Power Tour, yes, this is someone's actual car that was made into a Johnny Lightning release. So that is pretty cool that the car exists in real life. There actually is information on the back of this card that tells you who it is, whose car it was, and a description of it, and all that cool stuff. These are limited to 1256. We're going to go ahead and crack this one open, as I'm slowly becoming really a loose collector. There's still some stuff I don't want to crack open yet, but I like to crack open a lot of my cars. It rolls pretty well. We got rubber tires with tread, big fatties on there. Let's see here. Does the hood open on this casting? I do not know. It looks like it does, and it does. So that is pretty neat and really cool there. So there's that Firebird. And that's a 2001. This one is actually a 90s from Auto World. They're pretty much, they didn't really change the body style much over that decade that these were out. But here's the Auto World one. I just brought it out to kind of show you. So the Auto World one supposedly would be true 1/64 scale, and these are pretty close. Johnny Lightning does tend to run a bit small in scale sometimes, but this one looks like it's pretty much right on par with 1/64. So when comparing it to the Auto World, of course, this is from the Auto World Deluxe series. This is from the original release of that, or I think maybe Series 2. Pretty cool casting, even though it has plastic tires and a plastic base, but it's very detailed all the way around. So pretty neat vehicle there. So I just wanted to kind of show those two together, and so that's pretty neat. I'll set those off to the side there, and then we got these GTOs. These are also limited to 1256 Street Freaks Release 2 for 2017. I'm gonna go ahead and crack them open. These you get like a little card right there. This is a sweet like antifreeze color. A lot of these Street Freaks do not have rubber tires. A lot of them have plastic tires or coal molded wheels, I guess, where they got like these hubcaps on them that you can actually pop. One little customization trick, if you ever wanted to play around with one of these, you can pop the hubcaps out of these tires, or not hubcaps really. You can pop these rims out of these tires and leave the tire on. You can swap them with other vehicles. So that's kind of a neat little thing for Johnny Lightning. Here's the other color. This is a version B, kind of a plumish color. Again, you get your little Johnny Lightning card, and then there you go. There it is in that color. Definitely don't dig it in this color quite as much as the antifreeze one. And I'm not sure if they have a release C and D yet for release 2. I don't think it is out yet. I don't think they've put it out, or it's not available on the Auto World store yet or anything. But this is the Street Freaks version of this casting, of course, with a big motor sticking out, no hood. And this is actually, I believe, the same tool as this one here, this GTO. I think these are the same tool. Yeah, they gotta be. The same tool, just a little different spoiler on the back, and of course this one has a hood and a normal motor. Actually, I think the motor's cast in, so it's not a separate piece, it looks like. Or maybe it is. I can't really tell. Maybe it is plastic in there. Yeah, it is plastic, so it's a plastic inset in there. So basically, to make these two different vehicles, they just swap out that, take off the hood, basically, and they got two different castings. So I do like that companies kind of play around like that. I'm sure they save money doing that, but they make cool little different versions of the same car. So that is pretty neat. So there's your GTO. This is from Muscle Release 1. So the first release that Johnny Lightning came back and did was the Muscle Cars USA Release 1, and this was in that release, this kind of root beer GTO. So there's those Street Freak GTOs. Alright, so now let's take a close look at this Ultra Red. And not a too close look at it, but the reason why I brought it out and we want to take a close look at it, first of all, thank you Jeremy Bolter again for hooking me up with this. And this is from Series Release 5. Okay, this one is Set C. Now, Release 5, there's some confusion over variations on Ultra Reds for Release 5. And I think the reason is because this was the first time they decided to go ahead and do a C and a D release. And the C and D releases have that limited production number on the side. The A and B versions do not have that limited production number on the side of the card. So, and of course there's Ultra Reds in each release for the same castings. Now, from what I can tell online and what I've seen, there's no variation between this version CD, C/D, Ultra Red, and the A/B Ultra Red. I think it's the exact same. There's no variation in the casting. Okay, so that's that one. So actually there's quite a few of that actual casting out. So now this is the Dodge Dart Swinger from that same release. This is just version D. Okay, so version D Ultra Red. This is the version A/B Ultra Red. So this would have been the one that would have been found on the A or B card. And there's no difference in these two Ultra Reds that I can tell at all. I'm not going to crack it to really inspect it, but looking at it, they're exactly the same. There's no variation in it. The license plates are the same. I looked at pretty much every detail on this, and they're identical to each other. So there's that. However, now there are ones that do have differences. This one is one of them. I don't have the other Ultra Red of this, but this is from the A or B release. I'm not sure which one, and that's before they put them on here. So it's either the A or the B of Series 5, okay? So, but the C and D one, the only difference is the interior. The interior is a different color. It's red on that one, and it's black on this one. So there is a variation in that casting to collect. So that's kind of interesting. So now this got me thinking, I want to take a look at this Ford Galaxy, because this one is quite strange indeed. This one, there's an obvious variation. This is the A and B release. This is the C and D release. The variation obviously is the white rims on the one and the gray rims on the other. Now there is another variation between these, and I don't know if that's shared in all the Ultra Reds that have the white rims. I don't think it is. But this car has a different base on it than all the other cars. It's not lifted. You see the difference there? The tires are the suspension is a little lifted on this version of the car, and it's not on this one. Now the regular car normally is that same ride height as this is for the A and B releases, and it has the same base. And same with the C and D releases, they all have that same lifted base. Now what got me thinking about this was Wade Fordsman, or Fordsman84, Wade, he showed that he had a black one, the black version of this car, that did not have the lifted base. It had the lowered base, or the original base, which is actually the base that would have been used in this tool, which was the original release of the Ford Galaxy. So this is an Ultra Red of that release. I believe this was in, I want to say it was in Premium Release 2, maybe. And then I also have the Galaxy from Premium Release 3, which is right here. We're going to crack that and take a look at it. Now this essentially is the same tool as all the others as well, except for it doesn't have a roof on it. And as you notice, the roof on these is plastic. It's actually a part that is added. Same with this one. This is plastic, the roof on it. So this is it without the roof. And this one obviously has the regular base and a 2014 production code. There's your motor in there. I think the motor variations are pretty much the same for these two. And then this one's obviously going to have a different one. Yeah, way different. So I don't know if you can see in there real well, but anyway, so Auto World is confusing the heck out of me, because not all the releases in Release 5, and this is really cool, not all the releases in Release 5 have a variation in the Ultra Reds for the castings. Obviously, there's a card variation, but I don't care about that. I care about the variation in the castings. So I had to show that to you. So I probably am going to try to find another one of these with the regular base on it to have all three variations done for that Release 5. And I don't know if this is an intentional thing or if this is an error or what exactly it is, but there has been regular cars found with that same lowered base on it. So that's just an interesting thing. So there's some Auto World education for you, as I always enjoy sharing Auto World knowledge with you. And I'm a little confused at what exactly they did with Release 5, and if the variations are just coincidental, since the A release of this car had white rims, thus the Ultra Red has white rims, and it's the same thing with the interior situation on that old 442. I don't know. So if anybody else has any information, let me know. Now, in the recent releases, which was the 2017 Release 1, there are obvious differences between the two Ultra Reds. So this is the C and D version of the vehicle. There's that. Messed up lighting here, where it's got a black top, and then this is the A and B. The other thing about the differences between the two is the C and D, which is the more limited release, typically at 1256. This one also has a red base, so it's an Ultra Red base, so that's interesting. And you'll notice for anything that's in 2017 Release 1, between the four different series, there is a variation in the casting between the A/B and the C/D. So anyway, there's that confusing bit of information for you. I hope I tried to make that somewhat coherent so that you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to these Auto World Ultra Reds and the variations between them. Just some crazy stuff. So again, if anybody has anything to add or anything to chime in with information, I am really glad to hear from you. So there is that. So we took a look at that. Let's take a quick look. Here's that green machine from Suresh, just showing you that, showing you the number 81. That's pretty cool. Thanks again, buddy, for that. That is a sweet addition to my collection. And then we'll take a quick look at the family trucksters. All right, so here's the release. The first release it was out was in Hollywood, release 12, Series 12, and here it is right there. It's a green body, green machine, I guess you could consider it, but it's just got green accents on it. So there is that. Here is the regular from that release. So there's a quick look at that. And then here is the Series 13 one. Okay. Now, they released two versions of the regular one. There's one with the car facing this way, and then there's another one with the car facing reverse, and that would be the one I found the green machine of. And then the one with the car facing reverse has honky lips right there, so that's visible. So there is also, and this is Series 13. These are both Series 13. There's a variation of the regular. There's a variation of the green machine, and apparently the green machine of this one's supposedly a lot harder to find than the green machine of this. And there is a variation. It's not the same thing, and I think it's just the same kind of green machine idea as this original release one, where it's got the green paneling on the side. And I should have looked that up before doing the video, but I know that I did see it, and I think that is the variation. It just has the green paneling and stuff. It still has the blacked out wheels, and I think that is the difference between that one. And then this one obviously has green tires and a green top, no green base, and then of course the car's flipped the other way, so you can see the spray painted honky lips on the side. So that's kind of a weird thing. And then just real quick, the other two trucksters I got in the collection is this one. This one comes with Aunt Edna. Get your 1/64 scale dead body. So there's that. And then there's a Black Bandit, basically, of this casting that I've got right there. And I don't have the green machines for either one of those. So that's a quick little thing on the National Lampoon's Vacation Wagon Queen Family Truckster dealy thing. So there's that, and now let's take a quick look at some double cabs. So the double cab has obviously become quite popular since every diecast brand basically is trying to put one of these out. And props for once to M2. They actually did this first. They were the first ones to come out with these, to my knowledge anyway. Here's just your basic one. I've got 3 different variations of it to show you. Here's this one with the little top thing, the bed cover, I guess you'd call it. It's also got the big like spotlight deal thing up in the top. Pretty cool. These are both, I think, 59 VW double cabs. So there's that. And then this is the coolest one, of course, in the series, this tow truck. And I think this is a 1960. This hitch thing that they put on here, they've used on several castings. It's the same little tool. But really cool to have it in this. I would love to have the raw of this, but of course I'm not going to pay raw prices for an M2, and I don't really collect M2 too much, and I was really hesitant to actually even take this one out of the package, out of the box, because I was afraid it would explode upon me touching it. So, shout out to Frank's kids. And then, anyway, so there's that, and then just taking a look and comparing that to the Greenlight one. So I just cracked this one, and Greenlight, believe me, is not without quality issues either, obviously, which we've seen a lot. So here is your double cab for that. This is actually, what year is this thing? This is a 74, so it's a different, the most obvious difference is in the front. You have the split window in this one. This would be a T2, I believe. And this one's got the little bed cover thing, but it's removable. It's got a little window in there. So that's pretty neat. And then I guess to keep the color consistent here, we'll take a look. This is the blue one. So kind of compare these two. I do really like the M2. I think they did a really great job with it, and this one actually does feel pretty sturdy, and it rolls decent. These Greenlights roll awful. The wheels are totally wonky on them. I mean, they look good displayed and whatnot, but it's like you're rolling on square tires. So there's that, and then of course I showed this one last week. We got the raw, and then the regular of the Texaco one. So there's your Greenlight double cabs. Pretty cool. I mean, they did do a good job with this casting. This green machine actually rolls quite well. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, you got Greenlight, you got M2, and then Matchbox also, of course, jumped on the bandwagon with this thing. This is obviously a very much newer bus. What year is this thing? Do they have it on the bottom? It's a Volkswagen Transporter Crew Cab. But it is basically a double cab pickup. It's just a newer kind of version of it. Then obviously this is the oldest one. This would be, so they all did a different generation, which is kind of cool. So this one actually hitch on it. There's of course there's a bed variation, which thanks to Suresh for hooking me up with a bed variation of this. Pretty cool little casting. I dig this one. Of course, this one's $1, so definitely the best value, and it rolls great. So that's awesome. And then of course the first version of that was this right here, and this also had the bed variation in it. So I believe this would be like a 3rd generation, I think, of this. And I love the VW bus and everything, but I'm not really schooled on exactly what years each one of these was and whatnot. And then of course Hot Wheels jumps on the bandwagon with this new casting for this year. So this obviously isn't a double cab. This is a Hot Wheels, variation. So it's a VW truck, I guess you would call it. It's like a flatbed, and it's pretty awesome. So there's that. So yeah, all the companies within a year basically. I mean, M2 came out with these last year. And then Greenlight, or Matchbox, I think, was next to follow, and then Greenlight, and then Hot Wheels. So there's that for you. So I managed to stretch this video out to a long one in spite of me not having a lot of things, but I think we covered some pretty interesting topics, especially that Auto World stuff is just super weird. I mean, I know now and I don't even know what they're going to do a C&D release for 2017 release 2. I really don't know. I hope that they do, actually, and I hope they make the variations in the Ultra Reds obvious. But yeah, that's just kind of an interesting little transition period for them where they started making the C&D releases and had to have a variation, in the Ultra Reds. But there's not really. Some of them's just the variations, the cards. Some of them is actually the casting itself. So that's kind of an interesting thing for Release 5. So anyway, that's it. I've gone on long enough. Thank you guys very much for watching another weekly update video. I hope you found this semi-entertaining, and enjoy the rest of your week.